To shame how all over social media we see people getting married and then getting divorced very fast, saying that marriage is a scam, and it discourages a lot of people to get married or even have exit plans for their marriages, or say people having babies or not having a two-parent household and things of that nature. It's heartbreaking because those are things that are meant to be sacred and special, but instead what we have is a lot of single mothers, a lot of divorced families, children growing up without one parent or things of that nature. It can be very disheartening, but at the same time I look at that and I think, what do I expect? I look over my own life and I think of my relationship with my dad, or the lack thereof, of no relationship whatsoever. And that's due to the fact that my dad could never really mature enough as a man. And this is no diss to him whatsoever, but when you tend to be thrown into responsibilities very quickly that you didn't plan to get thrown into, well, it's never a good thing for the long run. My parents had me in their early 20s, and my dad had not accomplished anything in life. He had not lived everything that he wanted to live. He's not established himself or made a name for himself. Instead, he was just a young person who had nothing to his name, and then being told that he has a child along the way. So obviously he could panic. And although it's still a thing where it's like you got to step up to the plate when a child is coming, at the end of the day, I get why a lot of people pull back from that. And to be honest, the scary part about it all is that I look at myself in that position and I think to myself, if I was in a position young and I had nothing to my name and I was told that I have a baby coming along the way, I would probably have cold feet as well. I would probably be stressed out every day. The amount of work I'd have to do and just give up my life for a new child before I'm even ready. Because at that age, you're still a child as well. Once you've not established, until you've established yourself fully, you're not fully an adult of your own as of yet. You've not lived life enough to then now be told that you have to take care of another child. But at the same time, it's no one's fault but his, because we all know how babies are made. I make this point because the topic of this video is about premature blessings or inheritances coming earlier than you're actually ready for it to come. And we see like all of these cases with marriages happening and babies being born, and the reason why they're failing, in my honest perspective and using the godly text, is because people are skipping steps to have these glorious blessings. People want to have sex but not be married. People want to have children without getting married first, or worse off, people want to have children with someone that they wouldn't even marry. People want to get married but not include God. People want to get married and not establish a relationship that's more than just lustful desires. How many people can really say that they started a relationship just purely on knowing each other, getting to know each other, building a relationship, and having that godly thing in the sense of it to know each other? A lot of people can't really say that. And when you have relationships that are built on lust and a child comes along the way, there's not, lust, having sex is there, but now it's about your capabilities as a man and a woman and working as a partnership. What a lot of people seem to see is they can't stand each other in that case. So when you have blessings that come before they are ready, before you are ready as a person, it's never a good recipe. It will always lead to disaster. This is why we see loads of cases with people arguing with their baby fathers or baby mothers, because reality is people just do things too early. And that's why I'm very serious when I tell you guys, stay away from sex, stay away from relationships. And if you are in a relationship, you should make sure that you're doing it the godly way. Do not be getting in no relationship if it's not in a godly manner. And more importantly, if you are in a relationship, do not indulge in sexual actions, because those things are meant for later. Right now it's the building season, and that's the reality of it. When you have a relationship, it's about building. It's about building towards something great, and that's where you have to establish your foundation, your capabilities, and have those big talks before actually taking on big responsibilities, having these discussions, then realizing, oh, I can't really stand you. I just can't deal with you. I can't do it. And then having a broken home and children. And it's interesting because a lot of people are like, well, you can always find a new person, but the amount of hassle that will be, the amount of discourse, the amount of nonsense, why not just do it right the first time? The reason why I'm so scared of things like sex and things of doing things earlier than expect, because I see a lot of my father in me if I don't do things the right way. And this is where I'm correcting the wrongdoings of people before me. I'm not going to indulge in actions that's going to lead me to either having a child before my time and not being a good father, or having a child before my time and then having to abort because I'm not ready. I don't want to put myself in a position where I know that the worst of me is going to come out. And that's why I choose to do things the right way. And people around me, I bring with me, I choose to lead them the right way. Because, guys, we got to be honest with who we are. We got to be honest. Life isn't a Disney Channel movie. Life isn't a make-believe La La Land. We got to be really honest with the kind of people we are if we are pushed to the back end. You know, and we got to make sure that, how do we avoid becoming this bad version of myself? What steps do I have to take to move around and be a better person? You know, right now, what is the thought of a child sounding like to me? Right now, it's sounding to me like, oh, hell no. So what am I going to do? I'm going to make sure that I'm not having sex. I'm going to make sure that what do you think of a divorce, marriage and stuff like that? Oh, I don't want anything like that. Oh, well then, let's work on your flaws. What is it that I do wrong? I tend to get a bit annoyed very intensely when I'm annoyed. I don't get annoyed quickly, but when I'm annoyed, I tend to stay in that annoyance and I tend to stay in that anger. How do I avoid it? How do I fix my flaws to be a better man for the woman I'm going to marry? Proverbs 20 verses 21 says, an inheritance claimed too soon will not be blessed at the end. Now, thank God that he is the God of restoration, the God of mercy. God can turn a bad situation to a good situation, regardless of how bad you messed up. But the reality is, consequences are still consequences. And there's some consequences you just can't undo. You know, once you have a baby with the wrong person, you can't go back. God can make that child be loved and have a great future in the ahead, and you have a great future with that child, but the roads will be difficult because you have a bad baby father or a bad baby mother. You get what I mean? Or, yeah, God could say restore the marriage, but there's so much damage done that the restoration process might take a bit longer than expected. Or God could separate you from a marriage with someone that you weren't meant to ever be married with, but those kids still have to swallow the fact that their father isn't in their lives or their mother isn't in their lives. How are they going to digest that? How are they going to digest having a bad mother or father? You feel me? That's what the consequences are. It can be a curse in certain aspects. God can always make things a blessing, that things that are bad and make things a blessing if he sees your heart and your repentance. But to avoid having the consequences linger in the background, let's make sure we're doing things the right way. This is a very serious topic, you know. It breaks my heart to see people online talking about, oh, divorce or marriage, because it's not meant to be like that, man. But that's why we have to think ahead. You are never too young to think of the kind of marriage you want. You're never too young to think about what kind of husband or wife you want to be. You are never too young to think about what kind of father or mother you want to be. You're never too young to think about what kind of relationship you want. And most importantly, you are never too young to work towards the goal and resources that you need to be that person that you need to be for the future, and avoid generational trauma or avoid societal norms, because it's becoming a normal society for divorce. Niggas are throwing divorce parties. I shouldn't have said the N-word, but they're throwing divorce parties. I'm not going to do that because you guys need to see my flaws as well. I'm not trying to participate like I'm Mr. Perfect, but people are throwing divorce parties. People are actively talking funny stuff about having a bad baby mother, bad baby father. People are actively talking about how their mother or father is a bum or this, that, and the third. It's not nice. So guys, walk away from this video not rushing into things. Do things the right step. Work on yourself first and move forward from there. Don't rush into it. We have so much time, right? You don't need sex, marriage, and babies now. What you need now is to be a good person. And if you're in a relationship, you need to develop that relationship to the best of your ability before you marry. With that being said, my people, let's stand tall and march to God's will together as one family. God bless, and I'll see you guys next video.